What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to Sunless Sea. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today. We found Port Cecil, actually, which is a pretty big deal, because this is a location where you can play chess, as I recall, and it will increase one of your attributes for free. I think that's how it worked, but anyways, a sourceless silver glow, a haven for players of games. Rumpled convolutions of coral fill the water, glimmering with silvery light. The harder you look, the more you see shapes amid the chaos, almost as if they were sculpted. This one could be a crenellated castle, that one a horse's head. A neat little port huddles to the side of a coral island prosaic, imperial docks and houses tucked away in a baroque organic chaos. In that curious silvery light among the frozen chaos of coral, the scene has the unreal air of a pencil sketch, crumpled and discarded. We're about to play cards and we're about to be discarded, damn it. Anyways, chess is popular in the Principles. The port is full of exiles, drunks, and washed-up Z-traders. They all play, often obsessively. Be careful. The chess pieces are carved from scintillac. Here in the Principles, that can be very, very dangerous. So our pages gives us a chance. What is our pages? How are we looking? 24? That's not very good. So the first game we can play. A disciplined success. Odd thoughts bubble up each time you touch a chess piece. This one longs for home. That one has a secret desire for revenge against the slayer of its rank mate. This will be a queen one day. Those would do better as metal. You taste the metal. You ignore these thoughts and move methodically to a victory over your opponent. He blinks. Checkmate? He asks helplessly. Win enough games and something will occur. We gained 1 pages. 75% chance on the next one. Let's actually get a port report first. And so there it is right there. The older inhabitants of Port Cecil carry coral incrustations like a disease, splotched with silvery light. They like to go up into the limestone heights behind the harbor to lay their heads against the pillars and towers, stare at the roof of the Neath, dream open-eyed. Sometimes they speak of things far away, the Canaan's work, the smuggler wars, the Fathom King's secrets. Perhaps it's not all invented. My cat does that. My old cat, who's like 16, he sleeps with his eyes open. It's the weirdest shit ever. I think he's dead all the time. I come in, and he breathes really, really lightly. Oh, it freaks me out on like a daily basis. I walk into the living room, he'll be laying on the floor, and his eyes will be like wide open, like seriously, wide open. And then you'll go over there, and you'll ruffle him a little bit, and his breathing will become heavier, and he'll wake up, and you're like, God, don't do that, man. I thought you were dead. I don't know. The joys of having an ancient animal in your house. If you have a young pet right now, someday you'll know. When they get old, they start to act all kinds of weird. And then you're constantly worried that they just like up and died on you. Ooh, we can gather scintillac if we have good mirrors. It's only at 25% though. That's a close one. That's a very, very close one. Unlocked when the Principles end. Principalities pursuing chess and the Principles. So we can go up there. You can get a lot of money for it. I mean, we do need money, and so it might be worth the risk for right now. Let's find out. We failed in the challenge. It's against local law and custom to break coral from the reef, and you've seen the scars of those who have tried, the acid burns, the blind silver eyes, so you're looking for loose fragments. Today, the Z is calm, and you find a few good candidates. They lie shining softly like droplets of moon, but after a little while, you become concerned that they're eyes, and each is watching you. When you close your fist around one, it examines your blood with amused delight. When you put them together in your pocket, they clatter and gossip together. Of course, you think. They broke from the shining mind. They have its vitality, but not its weariness or experience. You have to lock them in separate boxes, lest they peep at you when you're bathing and see who you are. The thought of your sight and your skin fills you with horror. What if your skin turned clear? What if they saw your bones? You come back to yourself when you see one of your sailors fall on his back and start kicking delightedly in the air like a beetle. Gravity, he cries, I have fallen! You hasten back to the ship with your hull of coral before it could do further damage. The next time I trip and fall down, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, I have fallen, gravity! And I'm going to make a big deal about it. I'm sure people will just I live in the city, so people will probably just step around you and treat you like it's completely and totally normal. Kind of that disdain that everybody walking in the big city has for everybody else that's weird or acting in the way that they're not supposed to. We got 1 scintillac, so that's pretty cool. We've got at least a little bit of money to be made. And it looks like we can only attempt that once as part of like our daily event that we can do here. 75% chance. Let's try again. A distraction. You don't often look at chess pieces, not really look. The bishops with their hooks, the knight with its mane and teeth, the kin and the cream, white mingled with red, the roots that pin the corner of the board down to keep you safe from your opponent. You lift a paw to toy with it, to touch its velvety pads. Checkmate, your opponent says. She grins. Look too closely, did we? You need to be careful with scintillac chess sets. Her face is blank and white as the dome of a chess pawn. Get out. Get back to the ship until the waking dream of the coral disappears. Our fear is a little bit high right now, and we do still have other things to accomplish, so I'm not going to play around with that too much more. Instead, let's go ahead and leave port. We're still mired in a little bit of fog. But I think what I'm going to do for right now is we're going to go north a ways, and once we go north a ways, we're going to go up to here, we're going to kind of cut west and see what we can clear out this way, just sort of zigzagging our way back to London. And if that works, I'll be pretty happy with ourselves. Khan's shadow is off to the northeast, which is a little bit worrisome. Why are we still gaining terror when we're near to shore and we have the light on? Ooh, we've got something over here with which I'm not familiar. Typically what that means is this is not a game that you fight in. I don't know if I've ever brought that up before, but in Sunless Sea, you really sincerely want to avoid combat until later on in the game. If you're the kind of person that really likes to throw blows at everything that looks at you wrong, you are not going to enjoy this game. This game is going to mess with you a lot along the way. And so my suggestion to you, as a player who's played the game a bit, would be just to avoid combat altogether. It's not a good prospect for you. We found Khan's shadow. And Khan's heart is to the northeast. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on over here, isn't there? We still have to be careful, though, because we're an outsider. And so what this is, they're kind of like sea Mongols, I guess. And so you need to be very, very careful about the way you interact here because you're an outsider, which means you have no rights and they can do whatever they want to you. And so you can actually be robbed in the port. So watch out. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. The city that swam. Long ago, the Khanate turned its back on its warrior traditions. It has no place for pirates and would-be nomads, so here, in the shadow, the exiles make their home amid 100 wrecked, grounded, and decommissioned ships. We got a doomed monster hunter if we can get an element of dawn. It looks like we can get a port report, so compile a port report. So many malcontents, so little time. Conniving, debauching, speechifying, drinking, singing, speeching, poeting. That's a lot of ings. Now and then a drunken duel, very occasionally a savage ritual murderer. And it looks like that's all that we can do here, so I guess we'll set sail. Another port report, another little bit of fuel for when we get back out to the sea. We've got plenty of supplies, so I'd like to make sure that we have a lot of fuel for later, and getting port reports is the way to make that happen. Into the Khanate. Getting a port report in the Khanate is actually more akin to espionage than actually getting a port report, so we need to be careful about it here, but this is still a really good place to get ourselves a bunch of pages. Ooh, we got a Truth and Dreams. The Neath, the cavern that holds the Untersee, is prowled by dreams. There's a story that it was once the skull of a dead god. Perhaps that would explain it. Listen to our dreams, what will you learn? Or sleep deeply. Let's listen. We gain 20 fragments and 5 terror. The ship crosses a desert, not a Z. Black sand whispers against the hull, sand like grains of glittering night. Your crew sit on the deck at a long table lined with candles eating a rich red feast. A reckoning, one remarks as she spears a gobbet of meat with her fork, is not to be postponed indefinitely. To the north, a light bulges hernially among the horizon, a searing kind of sunlight. Okay, that's not good. That's something to be concerned about. So let's go to Ogadai's Bridge for right now. I think if I can keep our terror locked away, we should be all right. I'm going to turn out the lights since we're so close to shore. We are in a safe location. Let's see if we can get in here. It's December 30th, so it's almost New Year's. Got a little bit of fear bubbling up right now, so I'm going to try and keep that under control before horrible things happen. Our fuel is a tad low, so I do think we should make for London at our earliest convenience. Let's go ahead and put in Khan's Heart, London's rival. The Kaganians dislike merchants and they dislike foreigners. Foreign merchants induce paroxysms of antipathy. Perhaps sufficient bribes will buy your way into the Nephrite quarter. We need a Nephrite ring. Khan's Heart, London's rival, an oasis of light in the salt-black wastes. Canals thread the painted city, street lamps glow, and water taxis putter. Not here, surfacer. Surfacer, but the Kaganians have been generations underground, and to them all Londoners are surfacers. It seems you'll need to go to Khan's Glory, the nearby palaces of the nobility, in order to seek a license. That's kind of like with the Amish. They've been isolated for so long, like hundreds of years, that they call everybody that's not Amish the English. So, for example, I'm from California, and I could go and meet with the Amish, and they would say that I'm English, because they've been so far removed from everybody that to them, everybody is the English. But back when they broke off and they became their own thing, everybody else was literally the English. And so, I don't know, it's a weird thing. Still, kind of a cool reference. Is there anything that we can do here? Not without cash. We can get a port report if we wanted to do some subterfuge. However, if our suspicion goes up, we're going to be in deep shit and we might not be allowed to come back. So I would wait for a little while. There are no shops. Instead, I'm going to go north. Let's keep the terror low and let's stay near a wall here. This is a great opportunity to get a lot of pages and get a lot of secrets because we're unlocking a lot of locations in short proximity of one another. These things right here are guns, so you know, don't mess around in Khan's Port. You'll get wrecked. It'll be bad. I don't know if we have the fuel to do all this right now. Let's head back to London right now. I think our fuel is low enough to where I'm starting to get nervous, and Khan's Glory actually ended up being a long way from London. And so instead what I would recommend is maybe sending out a Z-Bat, seeing what's north, and then cutting southwest back to London. Yeah. With 7 fuel left, I'd rather not risk it. Let's just head west for right now. I think... yeah, we might not have an option. Hopefully we hit something in the west. It's going to be one of our only choices for right now. And then our next excursion is going to be to come back out to here and then to go northwards as far as we can to see if maybe we can unlock some of the more lucrative locations like Palmerston and things like that. We've got something over here. The world is webbed with invisible lines. You've crossed one. Tighten them. It will split like a fruit. It's a little bit dark and weird and concerning. But you know what? Who's writing this stuff? Is this in my journal? These aren't the kind of notes that I would leave for myself. I don't know. They seem to be a bit much. Oh, good. We made it here before our terror rolled over. That's a nice little bonus to sleep with. I already bought it dinner, and it was pretty expensive. It ordered the steak, so it kind of has to. Anyways, let's go down this way. It always reminds me of that scene from The Office where they're giving dating advice to... I don't know. They're giving dating advice to some girl there. And then they're like, oh, you got to go to the expensive place, but you will have to put out. That was like the whole thing, is that they asked like 5 different people for advice. And like, well, yeah, you are going to have to put out. Like everybody like woefully agrees that you are going to have to put out if you go to that restaurant. It was like one of the subtexts. It was only like a 5-minute portion of one episode, but for some reason I remember it because it's funny to me. Got this over on the right-hand side. What is that right there? Does it have a name? Does it count for anything? We fed the crew today. What we fed them, we're not really too sure. It's been in a crate for so long that anymore it's not even identifiable. Let's go off to the west. I think maybe Geidersmorn, Abbey Rock, Station 3, like ping-ponging in between there if we've got the fuel to do it, just to make sure that we're getting all the little bonuses. Some sort of beetle has invaded the morsel of ship's biscuit. It waggles its antenna impertinently. Apparently thinks that that's its biscuit. It's taking control of the situation. I respect that. Taking control of the situation is a hard thing to do. A lot of people avoid it like the plague. That beetle's getting his. I'm going to try and stay inside this lamplight out here. Who makes these buoys float out here with the light? Like, whose job is that to make sure that it happens? Sorry, I hit the space bar. I've got a really, really sensitive space bar. I've got this Corsair keyboard. It's loud as hell, but it's a mechanical keyboard that's really satisfying to type on. But the downside here is that it's uber loud, and then B, it's really, really sensitive too. Like, you barely touch a key, and it will roll over on you. Yeah, I think we made the right decision coming back. I don't know. I was filled with trepidity at the thought of maybe coming back too early, because you want to accomplish as much as you can whenever you go out on an excursion. But for right now, we're sort of in a situation where I think it's a good idea just to play this safe. We're going to make a little bit of money when we go back. We'll buy supplies with that money. Hopefully we'll get enough fuel to where we don't have to worry about it. We'll sell the Scintillac, which will be pretty cool. Make a little bit of cash right there. In Geidersmorn, I would suggest that we explore the Morn, and then we also get a port report. Got a 40% chance here. We could get stabbed. That's the downside. We lost a crew. We failed. Shit. Oh, no, we got the port report. Okay. You and one of your more villainous-looking sailors join a dice game. Villainous-looking, but you know for a fact that she ties to charity and has a delightful singing voice. The topic turns promisingly to pillage and ambush, but your sailor is a little too forward with her questions. There's a scuffle and a stabbing. You escape, and she does not. Well, that's the life at sea. Yo-ho-ho-ho, a sailor's life for me. We'll explore the Morn one more time. Let's see here. We need a Z story. Damn it, we got the same thing that we always get. We can leave and not look back, which I think gets rid of some of our terror. But I'd like the Z story. I'd rather take it. We lost some echoes, we got 5 terror, and we gained a tale of terror. I'd rather stack these up for a little bit because you can sell them for cash, and you never know. Later on, you need those things like candy. Like, you need Z stories, and you also need tales of terror by the fistful. Like, every now and again, you'll come across this random situation, and they'll be like, you need 25 Z stories, you need 35 tales of terror, and when you have them, and you turn them in, you get a massive payout, but most of the time you don't. What is that over there? Is that fightable? Is that one of those pinnaces that I can easily overcome? Well, then let us overcome him. We're almost out of fuel, but if I go around... Oh, no, never mind. That's a crack pirate. Okay, I don't know if I want to mess with a crack pirate right now. Crack pirates, they get up on them drugs, man. They get kind of crazy. They get that crack up inside their system. It gets a little bit odd. Never trust anybody with crack in their system. So we are going to get shot right now, unfortunately. However, if we can make this happen properly and we can outmaneuver them, I don't know if we can, but I'm going to try. Let's see what we can do here. If we can outmaneuver this Betty, we should be all right. We just don't want to take broadsides right here. And you can do this with about all of the ships. Their turning radii are actually pretty terrible. Ooh, what was that? Proper pluralization? Yeah, only the best from Splattercat. Only the best from Splattercat. Either way, I need pillage and plunder, and this guy's probably got decent loot, so he gonna die. Let's go ahead and get our fight on real fast. It's weird how it comes back to you. It's been a couple months since I played the game, but the strategies are mostly the same for all of the things that sail. And so now that he's down, or I guess steam. Loot and scuttler. We got ourselves some lean pickings. We got a cache of curiosities. We'll crack it on open, and we got 3 supplies, hardtack and water, and an unexpected box of nails. A would-be wit remarked that nails look tastier than the hardtack until the officer's glare silences her. Yeah, indeed. I've actually had hardtack before. I had a teacher that went the extra mile when I was in school. We were studying like the explorers, like Magellan and, you know, Cortez and all of those guys. We were studying them, and this guy looks like he's beached. We might be able to make this work to our advantage. We might not be able to. Are you actually beached, or are you going to be able to break free the second I get over here? Well, let's start it off. It's risky, but I think we can make it happen, Captain. Let's not allow this thing any chance to... It's your fault for being a bad captain, pal. That's what you get. You gotta give your ship its due diligence, otherwise this happens. You end up on the rocks. Let's go ahead and put her in reverse real fast so that we can get a better shot off. But this is yet another opportunity for really, really good loot, and I would really, really hate to bypass it. Opportunism. My name is Splattercat. The opposite. When the chance to pillage and plunder comes along in this game, you don't turn it down, because sometimes you get some really cool stuff out of this. Alright, we got 1 fuel, we got 1 supply, and a cache of curiosities. Good. We're actually up in the ante right here. We actually got another fuel right there. Not the best. Coal, or coke. We got more coke. Okay. So anyways, we got cocaine off that pirate. We killed a crack-addled pirate. So there's been a lot of cocaine-related adventures taking place right now. Still, at the same time, it gave us 2 fuel, which basically guarantees that we're going to get back to London. So, hooray for us right now. The adventure went pretty well. We've murdered, we've pillaged, we've plundered. I can't turn down an opportunity to shoot somebody in this game, especially when they're hostile to me every chance that they get. So, anyways, if we can get this to happen right here, I wouldn't turn it down. Let's go ahead and back up aggressively real fast. 1 shot off right there. Second shot. And now they've been taken out. Let's go ahead and jump up in here because we're about to max out our hunger. And if we can get minus 50 hunger from this, this will be great. And so we lost 48 hunger. We saved ourselves a supply right there. A perfect supply, in fact. That was almost perfect timing for a crab to show up in order for us to get the maximum amount out of it. Unfortunately, this one's going to get the better of us, I think. Well, actually, I guess we scared him off by beating up his friend. I don't know. Never mind. Looks like he's going to ride out on us. Let's go to Quaker's Haven real fast. I don't know if I grabbed the port report when we were on this side. It's not much, but it's something, and so the extra fuel will be nice. Quaker's Haven. We've got to explore the shore right there. We have to have 4... Okay, so we can either explore the shore or we can visit the hilltop. We got a 75. That one's actually got like a little bit of a gamble to it, so I assume the payoff will be better. Let's go and explore the hilltop. You stand on a cliff top looking over the little village. Smoke from the chimney of the Cock and Magpie drifts straight upwards. As you watch, the smoke tilts. The sudden wind thins it to a pencil smudge, then nothing. The wind screams unexpectedly like a god cut in half. What a noise. It must be the caves around the island channeling the air. At least that's the most comforting explanation. Below you, the locals each take nips from a shared flask and make a toast towards the mainland. The wind is southerly. Well, we got some free fragments right there, so that's pretty good. Got some terror as well, which is a little bit of a downer, but what are you going to do about it? Let's go ahead and bounce on out. It's time to go back to London. It's been a long time since we went back home, and we do have things to turn in, which I think is the most important thing here. You never want to go back to London empty-handed. When you've got a bunch of stuff to turn in, you've got a bunch of stuff to turn in. So let me take a look right here. It looks like our port reports... We've got quite a few. I would highly suggest that we pick up a few more Zailers when we're out here. Never use a skeleton shift in this game, because what happens is if you get low on Zailers, you actually sail very, very slowly, and it totally sucks. It increases your chances of being mired at sea by exponential amounts, and so I would avoid it personally. Still, just keep your crew high. Keep them nice and baked if you... No, that's not what I meant. Keep your crew amount high. There we go. And so if you can keep yourself at 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10... much, much safer than riding around at 5 out of 10, which is basically one disaster away from you losing your character. I'll just call it what it is. It's basically prompting a game over sooner than it would have rather come. So let's go off to the left right here. We're going to redock in London and see what we can accomplish. London seems small in this game by comparison to how I envision it in my head. I would love to go to London. It's one of those things that I want to go to Paris. I want to go to London. I want to go to big cities that have a lot of history, that have been there for a long ass time. I'd love to go to Rome. I'd love to go to Moscow. I'd love to go to just like every major city that's been around since basically the birth of civilization. Let's see here. Her Enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the ministers. They can do their worst. They're not going to find anything. Our suspicion stays low. So things are going to happen here that I think we probably want to play around with. As soon as the gangplank touches the quay side, the terrors are the quay side, the deep Z lighten, walk taller, smile more readily, what dreams may cling. And so our terror has gone back down, but what's going to happen is you actually get nightmare strength. And so your character gets used to having horrible nightmares from being at sea. And then I think you can trade these for something else later on. I don't exactly remember. We have messages from the harbor master, so we'll take those. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messages for you? There are indeed. So, good evening, Captain. What a marvelous evening it is, if you don't mind my saying so. And given it is my impression that you are an obliging sort, I imagine you will not mind at all. And since you are so very obliging, perhaps you wouldn't mind asking, or wouldn't mind making a little detour via Mount Palmerston with a few articles of cargo. If you happen to be in the area, the cheery man will of course cover your expenses for this trifling inconvenience. You will need at least one unit. Okay, accept it. There it is right there. And so, if you would be so kind as to deliver this little gift to our friends in Mount Palmerston, then they will see we gets to hear about it. And when you come back, we'll cover your expenses. Bon voyage, as my aunt, who is French by birth, if not by inclination, used to like to say. Well, that works. A visit to the Clathernon. You're a real sailor now, after all. You could go to one of those tobacco and prey places by the docks, but the prices at Clathernon's are reasonable, and his daughter's a real artist. What sign will you choose? So we can get more irons. We don't have any money right now. Can I leave that there for later? Yeah, I can leave it there for later. And so since I don't have any money, let me turn in all this right now so that we can get ourselves a tattoo and maybe increase some of our stats a little bit further. I would like to go to the Admiral. We're going to go ahead and we have the strategic information for right now. We can turn in vital intelligence if we have it. And so if we turn in vital intelligence, we get 2 pieces of strategic information and then some other stuff. Let's do this first over here. We have moves in the great game. So we did that. Speak to our agent there in return. You'll see that you're rewarded. So he wants us to go to the Chelenate, far to the east. We actually have that. And so once again, we got lucky with regards. It's weird how this game, you have a lot of bad luck and a lot of good luck running at the exact same time. And so you just try to play to your good luck and ignore the bad luck along the way. However, if we don't turn that thing to the blind bruiser, by the next time we come to London, bad things are going to happen to us. So just be aware that we could prompt a game over here if we don't make it far enough out to accomplish the things we want to. So let's go. We're going to turn in, I guess, we've got moves in the great game, but I'd really rather save those until we can get our mirrors up to 30. And then we've got enough right now to where we've got strategic information to turn that into a revelatory chart, or I think it turns into a vital intelligence. When we turn that in, I think we get like 1,000 echoes instead of getting like 400, which is what we get from turning them in individually. Well, anyways, let's do the port reports real fast. And hold on, let me go back real fast. We'll go to the end. We got the strategic information. I don't want to do that. Port reports. There it is. Sorry, sometimes I have trouble locating the thing that I want. Got Demoe Island. Your visit to Demoe Island has been confirmed by the Admiralty. So we got fuel. We got 20 echoes. Guider's Morn. Usually a pretty good payoff right there. So 30 echoes right there. Got ourselves Port Cecil. So we got ourselves 30 echoes for that one. We're back up to 80. We got 1 fuel. Very, very nice. Quaker's Haven. Another fuel right there. Got the Shepherd's Isle, which is high risk. 24%. We got fuel. They didn't pay us, though, because they're like, meh, they don't see fit. So, candidly, I'm not sure why you saw fit to trouble us with this nonsense. Is there anything else? And so we've got Cumaean Canal right here. That's going to give us 5 echoes. Got the Iron Republic, which will give us fuel, 10 echoes, and then we'll lose a terror, which is pretty good. This is blank. Yes, on both sides. No, I assure you. No, I know these things happen in the Republic. Consider this an ex gratia payment to cover your costs. And then we've also got the Fathom King's Hold right here. Alright, surveyed Fathom King's Hold. We got ourselves an accomplishment. We got 30 more echoes, make a little bit of money. We've also got Khan's Shadow. And so we lost 5 terror. Other officials gather around to hear your tales of bloodshed and debauchery and the jokes about the Khan that the Shadow produces so efficiently and so entertainingly. The one about the Khan and the donkey produces a roar of patriotic laughter and encourages the deputy recorder to unlock the departmental drinks cabinet. 30 echoes and another fuel. So we're back on the horse right now. I think we'd probably be better off if we got about 20 fuel and about 20 supplies before we set out, but I think we're in a good spot to break off our episode. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerdcast. For the next episode, a Sunless Sea. I'll see y'all later, everybody. How you do out there?